Good evening, and welcome to the Sister Sanditon review of Season 3, Episode 2 of the PBS hit drama, Sanditon. Now, this episode starts out and gets juicy. Oh, Charlotte gets handsy.
Georgiana gets antsy.
And Arthur gets fancy.
Ooh, a little trio that we come up with there.
That was lovely, dear.
Yes.
All right, let's begin. Now, Ralph's letter was very sweet.
It was very sweet
was a
and
heartfelt letter.
I was just going to say it was heartfelt.
Great minds think
Yes,
alike.
he is sweet, but you can see that Charlotte's just kind of like, I mean, she's not like, oh, it's so sweet. She just doesn't care about it.
No.
She's just not happy about it at all. She's clearly conflicted. I mean, she's still looking at it like, I think she feels guilty because she knows she doesn't feel that way.
Yes. Well, you know how it is. I remember my dating days when I got a letter from my boyfriend.
Yes.
Oh, let me
Yes.
save it.
Let me go into my room alone and read it.
Yeah, and she's like,
Yeah. You can just tell. She's
cut the poor guy loose.
Well, it's just so silly. Number one, I don't understand, like, why they're still engaged, why they haven't gotten married. Like, what are they waiting for? Like, people didn't have long engagements back then, right? I mean, you got engaged, you got married. I mean, if she's been planned to marry him for forever, like they say, if it was always the plan.
Because she keeps putting it off, dear.
Well,
That's why.
it's so silly. She got engaged too soon. She turned around and someone said it's been 2 months. So she turned around, went back, let me get engaged right away.
But here's the hole again. As you talked about in the last episode, he seems to say they have been engaged forever.
Right.
Since they were children. So,
like it was
why is
always
it a
planned.
shock? It was always planned, so therefore she just was doing what was already planned. But as you said, it doesn't make any sense because she was going to marry Sydney and she never gave a thought to poor little Ralph.
No. She went to Sanditon to escape Ralph.
Yes.
And she was ready to say yes.
Never spoke his name again. You're right, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1, she went to Sanditon to escape Ralph.
And they acted
the
like
same thing in...
Well, I don't think they had planned to include Ralph. I don't know. Because
but
when they made
what
it
happened in season 1?
And then Georgiana even said in the last episode, you came here.
Yes.
You went there. You came here the
right.
first time to escape the man. Whatever. Now you're gonna get married to him. But she had escaped Ralph, and she made it seem like it was some. I mean, she sort of made it seem like, my father's trying to push this local farmer on me. Yes. She didn't make it seem like, there's this boy who I grew up with.
Yes,
and
we're going to
we've
get married.
always been.
We're basically betrothed.
Right, and it's like we said, we were talking about this a while ago. It's almost similar to like Darcy, Fitzwilliam Darcy and Anne.
Yes.
Anne de Bourgh. Anne de Bourgh, right? And she goes, they were always meant to be from infancy. It was his mother's dearest wish.
Yes.
So it was like, it was their wish, but they weren't engaged. It was like, he was like, I was never going to marry her.
Yes.
So maybe it was that type of a thing.
Perhaps.
And then, she just did, she was going to go be a governess because she didn't want to get married. And then that didn't work out, so then she's like, well, I guess I'll just marry Ralph.
So it's like one of them thought more of it than the other one did.
Yeah. Well, Ralph said, I've always loved her. Just what we just said. Isn't that what he just said?
And you're saying that Mr. Berg was sitting there kind of waiting for him to ask her.
I don't know if
she
put
a ring on it.
Who knows?
But
so maybe...
didn't.
I don't know.
It's a good theory. It's a good theory.
Yes.
So we'll go with it.
Yes.
All right. Well, Lady Frederick Windsor. We talked about this in the last one.
That's what she was called in the first season.
Who was called?
I looked it up.
They
Lady Susan.
Don't know who you're talking about.
Lady Susan. They really referred to her as Lady Susan in the first season. And I looked it up. What really was her name? Because when they started calling her Lady de Clermont, I said, who the heck is Lady de Clermont, right? We said this. Well, apparently, her name was Lady Frederick Windsor. I wrote it down because I Googled it. I looked it up.
Well, whatever name you called her,
now they changed her name.
Outfit was gorgeous.
Her outfit was one of the most beautiful.
And we are paying homage to her outfit.
The gold and the red. And we thought that was just such a gorgeous color combination. We've already talked about the costumes were just scrumptious this season.
Yes.
Beautiful colors, beautiful materials. Everything looked rich and expensive and
tassels
well done.
And brocades. And
it was just beautiful.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Now,
yes.
Can we talk here about the fact of her profession, shall we say?
Is this a good place?
Can we? Why not?
We were going to talk about it at the end, but I'm fine to talk about it now.
let's talk about it now.
That's fine. So
did any of us, first of all, did any of us know, and you people that are on our Instagram can answer also, did any of us know, let's tell them also, in case they don't know, we also have our Instagram followers live right now. We're doing a fun evening tonight where we are letting them watch live.
Squeaking,
as we film. Now, did anyone know from season 1 that lady, we'll call her Lady Susan.
That hasn't changed, has it?
Yes, that Lady Susan was the king's mistress.
I did not know this until she gets the letter saying the king no longer wants you or whatever.
Which is in season 3.
Yeah.
So season 1, you had no idea that she was the king's mistress.
I had no clue.
Neither did I. Did any of you lovely ladies? Let us know in the comments if you knew that she was the king's mistress. I had not a clue.
No, not a clue. But
I guess that's what they mean when they say special friend.
Yes, didn't they say she was like special
I just
friends
thought,
with
she runs in
the
high
Prince
places.
Regent.
She's wealthy. She was a lady. Or whatever. That's what I thought. It meant she came from one of the noble houses, and so she was up there with the nobility.
And let's be honest, she doesn't look like that type of a woman. She doesn't act like that type of a woman.
Like a what? Like a prostitute?
Like a mistress of a king.
Oh, yes.
Like we were watching that other show that's been on, the French.
Yes.
What's it called?
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette. All right, and the king, the French king.
Look at this. She says she knew in season 1 that she was. Oh boy, we're idiots.
What?
I guess you and I are just
special
blockheads.
friend equals mistress.
Everybody knew but us, dear.
Everybody knew but me. All right. Anyway.
Obviously, we're not very worldly wise.
Yes. Anyway, in that Marie Antoinette, I'm going off a side note here.
Yes.
The king's mistress, number 1, she's a little flashy.
Mm-hmm.
She's very like, I'm going to flaunt my position everywhere.
And everyone shuns her.
Couldn't stand her. They looked down on her. She was like not fit company for this and that. And she was like, ugh, you're just like a gross little old, whatever. Like, that's how they felt about her.
Well, they had to tolerate her. They had to pay respect to her as the king's favorite.
Right.
But she was not seen as one of them.
Right.
She was not seen as...
Well, as soon as Marie Antoinette was getting like lessons from her, right, to learn how to please the husband. And as soon as Marie Antoinette found out who she really was, she was like, oh, I can't associate with you, and like disowned her.
How dare you didn't tell me
that
I've been associating with the, with the prostitute, basically.
So if you look at that and go back to Sanditon, I wouldn't have thought that the king's mistress was fit company for a well-bred, genteel, single woman like Charlotte.
She was almost like her chaperone.
Like her mentor. Like her mentor or something. Like, oh, I just miss her so much. I can't wait to see her, and she's so wonderful. She's going off with Charlotte. I wouldn't want her around my daughter, influencing her, my single daughter.
Well, I mean, she's a wonderful person.
She is. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't seem like the king's mistress.
But that's the other thing. Yes, she doesn't seem like she would
that.
be the type
She seems very genteel and calm,
very well-bred.
Well-bred.
But she was. That's the thing, right? She had a husband and a life, and she was high in society, and then she somehow fell from... Isn't that true? Wasn't she married at one time?
Yes, she was, but I can't remember the story. I need to rewatch it. Yes, she was married to an old man.
Okay, she was
married. Gave her money or gave her position. She was titled, but she had no money. That's what it was.
Okay.
So then she
But it doesn't matter. Okay, she had no money, but she would have been high in society because she was titled. So how does a titled woman go from being married and now she's a widow to becoming the king's mistress? I mean, don't they? Isn't that usually a type?
You know what? Yes, I don't know. She explained it a little bit more in one of the other later episodes, but I wouldn't have thought that she was fit company for Charlotte. Oh, that's the other thing we were going to say. As a chaperone.
Or whatever. I mean, they made her seem like she was the mothering, we know she's safe with Lady, Susan or whatever.
Yes.
When in reality, they wouldn't have been looking kindly on the king's call girl.
Yes, everyone seemed to think that it was perfectly normal. And that's also what I wrote down. You know that Julian Fellows series, The Golden Age?
Yes.
There's that woman who was living with her man before they were married.
Yes.
Then they got married and everything was fine.
Yes.
But no one was allowed to speak to her.
Exactly.
No one was allowed to visit her. The single woman was like, you're not to go near her. She's going to tarnish your reputation just because you're near her.
Yes. This for me did not work. This just did not work. Like,
it just seemed odd.
Like they could have just... I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how they could have fixed it, but I didn't get it from the first episode. And like I said, obviously
it was strange. Anyway.
All right.
We'll talk more about that later.
Let's just move on from this distasteful subject.
Yes.
Reverend Hankins to Edward, right?
Did we talk about that? No.
Let's talk about Reverend Hankins and Edward.
It's a little bit like Edward again is just going,
wait a minute.
Everything.
I have this written down right here in my chicken scratch. Look at this. Look what I wrote. I'm so sick of looking at the simpering face of Edward and all these nitwits who are so gullible to believe he has changed. He wants to write a poem. My goodness, yeah, right. He keeps feeding the pastor's pride.
Yes.
That's what I have to say about that.
You're exactly right. It's all put on, and he's making all these, he rolls his eyes, he's, it's all just put on, and it's so obvious
And they're just
And they
acting
just
so
think,
ridiculous.
"He's doing
isn't
wonderful."
he doing great?
Under my tutelage.
He's changed.
Yes.
Oh.
He said, "Your progress under my tutelage." When he said that, it reminded me of just what that dorky, ridiculous professor says in Anne of Green Gables to his little girlfriend student. His student who's his girlfriend.
Yes.
I think she's doing excellent under my tutelage.
Yes.
Prissy Andrews. or
Hey,
whatever his name
this
was.
writer has also watched Anne of Green Gables.
Yes, I
we'll
think
add that
so.
one to
I
the
think
list.
so.
Yes.
So
I
speaking
agree.
of the Hankins, Miss Hankins
Yes.
is waiting for a letter from Dr. Fuchs because
Yes.
he went away to London and said, "I'd like to write to you," and she's all excited. So she's just, she's waiting, and then of course, is this where she gets the letter and then she sits on it and she's like, "Oh, I'll just read it later."
Yes, and then he can't wait to share things with her, and she's
And I think this is a bit
giddy schoolgirl.
and I think this is a contrast to Charlotte's letter. She gets a letter from her fiance, and she's like, and the other little lady's just like, "Oh," like we said, that's how it should be.
Yes.
And I think the writing in that sense is good, that they keep showing what a good relationship is and what Charlotte has.
Yes.
And it's not that. And she always is kind of like the polar opposite of what we think is healthy and good.
I agree. But like I said, still, this whole thing with the Edward, it's just,
back to Edward.
It's not working for me.
It's a farce. Yes, it's just silly.
Them all acting like he's changed, and we said this in the last review. He tried to poison someone.
Yes.
Why is he still there?
Why isn't he in jail?
Why are we like, well, let's just give him some good old Bible teaching and he'll be just fine.
Shouldn't he be in jail?
I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
What's it
to
going
me.
to take if he'd actually
Maybe
killed
they
her?
think
I don't
that
know.
we've forgotten.
Yeah, I don't know.
That he tried to poison
It's so
someone.
strange.
I don't know.
And he
But
just goes to the parties.
He's meeting
like
Augusta in the park.
It's crazy. How does he have the gall to go and meet a single woman in the park alone, unchaperoned? I mean, she's got her little Leo. She's not quite a chaperone.
Who says, not him again.
Not him again. She even
I
knows.
felt the same way, Leo.
Yes. Every time we see
Can we
Edward.
be done with Edward?
I agree. Every time we see him, we're like, oh, not him again. Here we go again. Some more, pretend penitence and some more.
We'll have to talk more about this, though, in the next episodes, too, because there's a whole camp of people that think he really changed.
Your phone's going to die, by the way.
Oh, dear.
We have, for those of you on our YouTube channel, we are actually simultaneously doing a live Facebook, live Instagram for
people
some of our other
on
viewers.
Instagram, if we die, if the phone goes
If
out.
we die, if I die, let me die.
Lay me out in my. Okay, now listen. back on track here.
Edward.
Yes, Edward is.
He's meeting Augusta.
She knows he's only after her inheritance, and she still entertains him.
Yes, she even tells him, "Please, what do you think? I'm stupid. Like, I know
I
you're
don't
only
know.
after me, but." So then he goes away,
He smiles
and
at
they
her
have
when he
this
leaves.
sort of.
He's got that evil look on his face. Did you see where he turned back around and
He's
looked
kind
at her?
of a
And she's
lech.
like, oh, she likes it.
Well, yes, she did. That's what I don't understand. Like, she knows that he's bad news. She knows that he just wants her money, and somehow she still wants him. It's like, what did you say earlier? He's like the bad boy in the leather jacket.
Right.
Somehow,
I said that in the last episode. I
he's
don't want to
attractive.
repeat myself.
Oh, you did that.
Yes, didn't I?
No, I
Yes.
don't know. I can't remember.
Oh,
It's all a
right.
big blur. But yes, it's like she can't resist.
We just filmed it
Oh.
30 minutes ago, dear. All right. The meeting with Colburn. He and Charlotte are always exchanging these.
Oh.
We said this in the last one. These
They
longing
really-
looks.
They really are. Like, oh, this is why I wrote it, because I watched it. I go, oh, there's some more of those longing looks again. That's all they ever do is they're just
surely
like.
everyone notices, right?
That's what I don't understand. Surely everyone should notice. Mary, I'm sure I talk about this later. She was the one that knew that Sydney and her had
Yes.
something, and she's like as dense as the fog in London town. I mean,
She's
she
as
can't see
clueless
through
as
it. You know,
Well, let's talk about Samuel, dear. He's confident and he's cute.
I really like
I
Samuel.
felt like he was my
Samuel
hero
became the
almost.
leading man to me in a
he
way.
almost stole the show, didn't he?
Well, he's got so much life to
And
him.
charisma.
Charisma
That's
and
the word.
passion for your passion for living. Going to win.
Gone in the wind, yes, dear. Hey, we're from the South. We always got to throw a little Gone with the Wind in there.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
well,
can't beat Clark Gable.
no,
what a
you can't. Oh,
handsome
what
rogue
a man,
he was.
What a man.
What a
Okay.
man.
Well, he is obviously a man of principle, right?
Yes.
This Samuel.
Because he takes on Georgiana's case, knowing that he's not quite up to the task, possibly, that we find out later.
Yes.
Knowing it's important to her to be looked on in the best light and what is right.
Yes.
Do what is right. And he knows what is happening is not right.
Yes.
And so he's going to take on the case when no one else would.
Even though she
Wait a
seems
minute.
snobby, right?
Did we
And I
talk about how we haven't talked about how Zonda raced to London town to pick up Colburn?
You're right.
When did that happen?
Right. It happened right before this. But let's talk about it right now.
Let's talk about it. I missed it somehow in my
It's
notes.
okay. course, shows that this is a Darcy moment.
Yes, so
Pride and Prejudice.
Colburn overhears Georgiana and Charlotte talking about, no one's going to take the case, what are we going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. And then he overhears and listens and goes, oh, I'll race.
Because I love
to find
Charlotte, I'm going to race to get the lawyer to save Charlotte's friend.
Who he hasn't
Which
spoken
is
to.
just like Pride and Prejudice when Darcy goes to save poor fallen Lydia.
Yes.
Why? Because he loves Lydia? No, because he loves Elizabeth.
Yes.
So that, I'm glad you remember that, dear. Thank the Lord you remember that.
Yes, I did.
So anyway, he offers to take Georgiana's case, even though she's snobby, right? And like,
Well,
I haven't accepted you.
Yes, and I did think, beggars can't be choosers, my dear.
Yes.
You've been trying to get a lawyer for some time
Yes.
now. No one will take you.
Take what
and
you
here's
can get.
someone, not just anyone, someone who is, a friend, a good doer, his brother, he's willing to take it. And she's like, well, I haven't employed you yet. I'll see about that. Like, come on. She's just got a chip on her shoulder ever since day one. I'm sorry, it's just driving me nuts. Like, if it was me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I've had no one that would do it. Please, thank you.
Yes,
like,
I thought
she should be a little more grateful.
I agree.
And to Colburn. To
Did she
Zander.
ever say anything to him?
Zander, who went all the way to
thank
London in the middle of the night to find out his brother, who he hadn't seen, he hadn't spoken to him in 10 years.
Yes.
They seemed like there wasn't really much of a rift, but...
No. But did Georgiana ever thank him? No, right? Unless I
Charlotte
missed it.
did. Georgiana's never very thankful for anyone.
No,
She wasn't
no.
thankful to Sydney for going there and risking his
You're
life for
right.
her fortune.
You're right.
She's not thankful to Colburn, either one of the Colburns.
No, you're right. Well, anyway,
Georgiana.
they go to
All she wants to do is tipple champagne later on.
Well, they go to Herrick Park, and Charlotte
Yes.
goes too, of course.
Yes, of course.
More support,
To go
dear.
and meet with Samuel. Oh, you're going to Colburn's house? Don't worry. I'll go with you. I can't abandon you, Georgiana. Not now when you're out of need. Ralph can wait another month.
I really
to
should get back to Ralph. No, he can
He
wait.
must be wondering what happened to me. That's all right. He can keep waiting.
I'm more needed here, right, Georgiana? You need me, right, dear?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Well, anyway, she and Colburn wait together.
And it's slightly uncomfortable because they're just kind of like, okay, but it's still sweet. They sit there together and there's a fire. And
Doesn't he mention her betrothed, I think?
Yes, how's
That
your
must-
betrothed or something?
Yes. That must be
Yes.
so hard for him.
Yes, but he's a gentleman.
Yes.
He's kind. And he's,
Well, she
he
says-
could be just like,
Well, he's basically like, hey, where are you and your guy? What's going on,
That's
right?
true,
And she's
yes.
like, oh, he needed to return to the
Yes,
farm.
to the farm.
And I had to stay here for moral support.
no, and then he goes, oh, a farm. Oh, he's a farmer, like me. I think that was the funniest line in the whole series. Oh, he's a farmer, like me. And then Charlotte's like, not like you, he's nothing like you. Okay, so there's like so many things we can say about this.
Okay.
That's why I didn't write very many notes, because
Okay.
everything needs to have so much. Okay, number one, I was like, is he kidding? He's a farmer? Where are his pigs? Where are his cows? Where are his sheep? Where are his farmers? Where are his farmhands?
Where's the haystacks?
The only animals I've seen on his farm are the dog and the horse. I haven't seen any animals. I don't see any fields. I don't see any farm. Is he a farmer? I thought he was just a gentleman.
Now, dear.
Okay, so that was a little confusing. He's a farmer? All right.
All right.
Okay, so then when she said he pays people to do the work
For him,
I had
dear,
people
so
for
he
that.
doesn't have to get dirty.
Right. So then Charlotte's like, no, nothing like you. And he just kind of went deadpan. It was hilarious. And I was like, okay, I think... And so I'm thinking, okay, two things. He doesn't know that she's like... I think he's probably wondering, like, is that an insult to me? Like, oh, he's nothing like you. I went and found a man who was nothing like you.
Yes.
Because you hurt me.
Yes.
Or was it like, no, he's just nothing like you at all.
Yes.
Like,
There's a double meaning in
yes. So, I don't know if he was kind of like... Was he did he take offense, or...
But like you say, what's
What
so
did
funny
she
is
mean?
we wouldn't call him a farmer. We would
No.
call him a gentleman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Was a farmer a
Look at
gentleman?
the two-
Could you
look-
be both?
Look at Ralph and look at him.
But could you be both?
I mean, Charlotte's father's
mean-
a gentleman, and I guess he's a farmer.
Right.
He's
But
he's
Mr.
having a
Darcy
hard time.
would not have been considered a farmer. He
Well,
was
no,
a gentleman.
Mr. Darcy was well above.
Right.
I mean, look, Elizabeth Bennet's father. Was he a farmer? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think
he would have been considered a farmer. Yes.
I don't know if he was. They always say, "I'm a gentleman's daughter." You know,
Yes, but
what makes Darcy so much better than me? You are a gentleman, I am a gentleman's daughter. That's what she said to
He's
him.
the landowner, Karen says. He has a
Yes.
staff of farmers.
The
There we go.
The landowner. It's not like you're tilling the land.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes. Whereas Ralph is tilling the land, tilling his own freaking plow.
Oh dear. Yes.
Ralph is going to get dirt and sweat on him, all right?
And he wants Charlotte to plow right
My
along with him.
Goodness, all right. I'm crossing this off because we've done it.
Oh.
There we
All right.
go. On to the next.
Okay. Now, Georgiana, meanwhile, Georgiana is in another room with Samuel,
Yes.
and she's just really getting put through the ringer because he's like, I want to show you what it's going to be like at the trial. You're going to have to be prepared for what they're going to say about you.
Right.
You know, and he's got some kind of evidence. We don't know what it is. So here's what they might say. Something like this, something like this. So he goes, well, who are you? You live alone? She's like, yes. He's like, so why do you live alone? Is that so you can have gentlemen callers? She's like, how dare you? He's like, well, that's what they're going to say to you. That's what everyone's going to be thinking. Go!
Which is exactly what I thought. Yeah.
I mean, why does she live alone?
Didn't as soon as she turned that before?
As soon as she turned 21, she moved out of Trafalgar House.
Well,
because she didn't need a guardian.
It definitely made things easy when she was courting. Was she living alone when she was courting the scoundrel guy?
Not that I know
painted
of.
a
She was at
portrait.
Trafalgar House. She was still she still had a guardian at that point.
Yes, you're right.
But I don't think a woman would have been living alone. She would have had
She's
someone.
like, that's it. I'm 21. I'm getting my own place.
I mean, it's a little modern. It's too modern for me.
Yes,
I don't know
agree.
about that.
I agree with you, dear.
I don't think she would have had her own place. But
agree.
anyway, he puts her through the ringer, and she's like really shaken, and she's like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. So
Yes.
I don't think she's gonna go, and it's down to Charlotte. Don't worry, sir. I'll try to do.
Yeah.
Charlotte's gonna save the day.
Yes.
Right?
She's gonna save the day.
And we're all assuming that she will, but so we'll see what happens.
Well, now's the part I like. After the ladies leave, we have the two Colburn brothers sitting together, and Samuel makes some comment about,
Well,
she went to a lot of trouble for her.
Yes.
She must mean a lot
She
to
must
you.
mean a great
or
deal
something
to you.
like that.
Oh, she was just my governess.
And he goes, I wasn't talking about Miss Lamb. Or I was talking about Miss Lamb. Yeah. And Colburn's like,
It's like, oops, caught myself in just put my foot in my mouth and shared a little too much.
yeah.
So I thought that was funny. That was a great line.
That was
because
great.
he's always thinking of Charlotte.
Well,
That's all he's thinking of.
Samuel saw it right away.
Samuel.
Samuel's like, uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was wonderful. And then the opera singer, Miss Greenhorn. Now, Arthur has set this up so that she's
Yes.
going to come.
Well, the king was
And the
supposed
king
to
is
come.
gonna come.
And he wanted
She's
to have
gonna-
a concert for the king.
Yes.
And it was going to be a big to-do for Sanditon.
Right. She was going to perform for him. And, of course, a big portion of that was his mistress.
Yes,
Lady
Lady de
Susan
Clement. She probably
Was
invited
bringing
him.
right?
Right,
Like,
yes.
you're going to get him to come, right?
Yes,
Type of thing.
yes.
Yes, but the
And
king
so-
consuled.
Yes.
And why did he consult?
Why did he consult?
Because, of course,
He's
he's
found
kept her to the curb.
found himself someone younger.
He's traded her in for a new model. The story
Oh.
of the story of
age-old story. for those
age-old story.
Disgusting old kings. All right, so Arthur gets the
use
letter.
and abuse the women.
Yes, Arthur gets the letter and goes and finds Lady de Clement. He's
Yes.
like, you must help me. And she's like,
Yeah.
what is wrong? He's like, so obviously you've heard the king's not coming. And she's like, yes, I have heard. Clearly, she hadn't heard. She didn't know she'd been broken up with.
Well,
It was
but
even worse
isn't-
than a post-it.
Yeah.
She found out through someone else.
worse than a
The
text.
The worst way.
She didn't even know she'd been dumped.
No.
But isn't Lady Montrose sitting in the tea room?
Yes.
And says, I'm like, oh, that's
Something's
poor.
going on. And she found out.
She's done.
So people are finding out. She's like the last one to know that
And
the
still-
king has found someone new.
And still she's not cast aside by society, which she would have been.
I mean, she kind of mentions later at the concert, like, oh, everyone's like making fun of me now. Like, I'm she's kind of on the same page as Georgiana. Like, everyone's talking about me and
okay.
staring at me when I walk into the room.
Oh, okay. Well, at least
little
that's
bit.
a little more. That's how it would have been.
Only because she's been dumped,
Right.
I guess. So now she's
Well,
I mean,
she's
once
fallen
you're
from grace.
yes,
now, right?
once you're done, then it's like, well, what do you have now?
Yeah, exactly.
You're done. So anyway,
Well,
see,
that's
Arthur,
the other thing. Once you're done, once the king is done with you,
yeah.
you're never going to get a man, right?
I mean, not usually, I don't think.
Not usually, which is why it's so remarkable,
Yeah.
right? That Samuel's like, I don't care. I mean, that's what's so
And
wonderful about their love story and everything.
And
but-
I don't know what the protocol would have been on the king's end. Like, would he have been like, you're going into exile, or you're done, or you need to, whatever, you're not allowed to marry anybody, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
So maybe that's why, there's
And
drama
Marie-
later.
In Marie Antoinette, they sent her to the convent.
Well,
So,
that
of
was
course,
the
they
king was
wanted to get
dead.
rid of her.
He was
Yeah.
dead. That's a
Right,
different
right.
story. But
Yes,
anyway,
but still.
so Miss Greenhorn doesn't know that the king isn't coming, and so Arthur's freaking out and saying, well, she's not going to sing. And so the Duke of Buckinghamshire is coming to try to help. They form a little bit of a friendship here. He's going to try to help him, even though Arthur has been very wary of the Duke of Buckinghamshire and keeping him at arm's length because he knows something's fishy with him and Georgiana, and Georgiana's his dearest friend, and he's like, what is going on? And he doesn't like it. I mean, he doesn't
want her to get hurt again.
No, he doesn't want her to get hurt.
Because he messed up. He feels that pressure from the last one. I messed up with the last guy, and I thought that was the one for her, and it isn't. It wasn't. So.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the concert.
Okay. So they all go to the concert. Georgiana wasn't going to go because she was feeling so bad, but she and Charlotte showed up a little bit late.
But somehow Charlotte gets seated right next to old Colburn again.
That was so strange. There were about 2 seats.
Fancy meeting you here.
There were about 2 seats left in the audience. Charlotte plops down. Colburn runs over. Was he waiting to see where she was going to sit? I don't know. I'd like to think he was. He's just been telling everyone, don't sit in that seat. Don't sit in that seat. Maybe he's paid everyone off to keep those 2 seats together. But I don't know. It was hilarious. They sat down and... here we are again.
Yes.
Okay. Meanwhile, where's Georgiana? She came with Charlotte. Why isn't she sitting? I don't know. She went. I don't know. The whole thing was a little bit strange. Charlotte was like all on her own.
Well, tell us what the lady was singing.
Okay, so the lady was singing. I believe she was singing Porgy Amor, and I should have looked it up, but I can't remember what I mean, I could look it up if you want. The lyrics.
Something.
But so as she's singing, it was very beautiful. I don't know if it was dubbed or not. But she can't even sing. Her voice was dubbed. What's that from?
Miss Piggy.
Thank you.
Oh, how did you think of that?
I don't know.
Well, would you like to give us your own rendition, dear?
No. So anyway, Porgy Amor in English. Let's just see if I can find it. So anyway, the song is basically speaking to every lady in the audience who is like a lead character or one of our lead characters.
Yes.
It's speaking to Charlotte with her unfulfilled love with she wants to be a Colburn. It's speaking to Georgiana with what she wants to do, and it says, "Oh love, bring some relief to my sorrow, to my sighs. Oh, give me back my loved one, or in mercy let me die." So it's kind of like Charlotte wants her love. Georgiana, she also would like her love or just her life back. Lady Susan is just what's she gonna do? Mary, and she and Tom aren't on good times right now because she's wanting her voice to be heard about the plans for the new hotel and not destroying the old town, and he's not listening to her. So there's every woman is just kind of being spoken to, and it's very moving and it's very beautiful. Yes. Georgiana's in tears at the end. Lady de Clermont is a little teary. And in the middle, this is where we have the scandal, right? It was so... I mean, I was like, what?
I was like that.
What? What if someone went to see? Aren't they sitting behind us?
Does not happen.
It wouldn't have happened.
This cannot happen.
This mustn't happen. This cannot be. What is that? Oh, that's Wuthering Heights. Something like that, wasn't it?
Oh gosh.
What did she say? Oh, anyway, okay.
So while I was excited. I mean, I couldn't help but decide, oh my gosh, they're holding hands. At the same time, I was like, how are they
shouldn't be doing that. This is scandalous.
No.
And okay, number one, if you were engaged to a man and you went and started holding hands very romantically with another man, would your fiancé be happy with that?
No.
If the shoe were on the other foot and your fiancé had started holding some other woman's hand, how would you feel?
Awful. And wouldn't you, as the person that did it, feel some guilt?
Wouldn't you think, okay, I'm obviously feeling something for him. I'm not feeling something for him. It needs to be done. She should have broken up with Ralph before anything happened. This is I have said this before. When people are in a relationship and then they move on to somebody new, break off that relationship before you move on. That's so It's so terrible.
Even if she wasn't going to break it off because of duty, whatever.
Okay.
Why is she out there holding someone's hand?
It was so wrong.
She's not able to control herself.
So wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? You don't cheat.
Yes. Well, we talk about that later when she actually does cheat.
As an honorable person and as our heroine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, you're giving us bad qualities here. You're cheating.
She's starting down the slippery slope. Later, when they...
I told you my 11-year-old
was
watching this, and she said, she watched this scene of them holding hands. She said, she just cheated on Ralph.
Yeah.
I said, she sure did, honey.
In her heart, for sure. And holding hands is pretty,
Of course, holding
pretty
hands
bad.
is cheating.
Holding hands is pretty bad.
What would your husband say if you went out with some guy holding his hand?
No way, that would never fly.
That
And-
you loved.
Yeah, and it would never have flown, especially in that day and age. They wouldn't have even been holding hands out in public if they were engaged, probably.
Well,
Anyway.
that I can go with I can go with the flow of the hillside kisses and the marriage proposals and everything. But
I think this calls for a fan.
But cheating.
It was badly done,
Cheating
Emma.
is where I draw
badly
the line.
done.
Yes.
I think it was wrong of Charlotte to do that. And like I said, it opens the door to further indiscretions. Indiscretions,
Yes.
which happens later, which I can expound upon later,
Yes.
much further. So anyway,
There you have
Samuel, so at the end, they, quickly let go and they stand up. And she's like, let me stand up and clap really quickly and pretend like I wasn't holding his hand. It was so awkward. But anyway,
How does she live with the
I don't know.
guilt?
I don't know.
She's got to see little Ralph's face the next morning.
No, he's gone.
Oh, well.
He's
all
left.
right. Well, anyway.
But that is one of the things she says later is, how can I face Ralph? I was like, that's part of why she didn't want to go, because she was like feeling so guilty. It's like, well, put an end to it. Anyway,
Yes.
so Georgiana at the end, that song helps her get the resolve, like, that's it, I'm going, I'm getting my own back.
I
She's
really
gonna
like
go.
how you told us about the song, dear. I didn't
you.
know that. You read us the lyrics. That was lovely, and told
Yes.
us how it touched each woman.
Yes, and it
I
really,
didn't
it was
get
a special
that, so
moment.
I really enjoyed that. And so you're saying
Yes.
that that's what made Georgiana
Yes.
like, that's it, I'm doing this, I'm testifying.
And because she ran right over to him, so it wasn't Charlotte that really talked her into it. It was that song that, and music can move people emotionally. It's very
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
So she went over and she goes, "What time are we leaving?"
Yes.
He's like, "Yes."
And then,
Oh, and before that, sorry, you go.
No. I had nothing. I was just going to talk about Lady Susan.
Yes,
And,
Samuel had gone to her, and I think he was intrigued. Well, she's a beautiful woman.
yes.
A rose
Yes.
among the thorns.
Yes.
And he goes over to her, and she's like, "Oh, have you just come to laugh at the fallen woman or whatever? Everyone's been making fun of me. Why don't you just join in?" And he's like, "No, I'm intrigued by you." And so you're like, "Oh, what's going to happen there?" And
Yes.
of course, we're like, "Oh my gosh, they're a wonderful couple. They'd be perfect together.
Yes.
They're just so cute."
We just start rooting for them, of course, the moment they met.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
don't they hatch a little scheme right here of like, yes, let's get them to, let's get Charlotte and him together, or what do they say? Don't they? They kind of
Do
start
they?
their relationship and their quest here to kind
Do
of.
they?
I
I
think,
can't remember if it's
I think
now or
it's
if it's
there.
later.
I can't remember, but
I
anyway,
remember.
their relationship really kind of kicks off right
Yes.
here.
Well, and
So-
I think that was the start of her starting to trust him, because he wasn't just one of those people coming over to be like, "Oh, sorry, what happened to you?" And he was like, "No, I'm
that's what's
genuinely
so
intrigued."
wonderful about him, and what would just make her just love him, is that he loves her when she's at her
Worst.
lowest.
Yes.
You know?
Good point.
So I thought that
Yes.
was really special, and
Yes.
and he never wavers from that. He
Yes.
never leaves her side whenever he's there for her.
Mhm.
No matter what society says about her, no matter if she was a fallen woman, no matter her past, whatever, he loves her.
He didn't even care. He didn't even ask about it. He
No.
just doesn't even care. So
No.
it's wonderful. Yes,
What a man!
He's a good guy.
What a man!
They made it seem like
Let's
he was
make
like
a
a
spin-off
scoundrel.
about him.
Ooh, I would watch. He was super
A
handsome. Those
spin-off
piercing blue
with-
eyes.
What's his name again? No, I can't even
Samuel.
remember. Samuel. A spin-off
Sammy.
all about
Oh,
Samuel.
Sam.
Sammy
Play it
boy.
again, Sam. Oh.
All right. Well, on that note, we shall say good evening.
Please like our video, subscribe to our channel. You can join YouTube for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just join, subscribe, like. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. I think we're on Twitter. I haven't tweeted in about a year, but
Instagram is a great place to
Instagram.
see us. We do lives on there.
You
but
can
for
sign
sure,
up for free on that
subscribe,
too.
please. Subscribe. Press the little button. It doesn't
Oh,
cost.
please.
Does it?
What?
It doesn't cost, right?
No.
Okay.
It
All
costs
right.
nothing.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining. See you on the next episode. Now look at these outfits. Look at
Yes.
these colors. We're channeling, what's her name?
Lady Susan, or what's it? Lady de Clement, or Lady Frederick Windsor, whatever she might be called. She goes by all these names.
Yeah, one of those.
Yes,
Anyway,
one
she
of those.
wears gold.
Gold and red.
Marigold and
That
red.
was the most beautiful costume.
And look at what we've worn.
I can't. There we go.
There you go.
My
Now
hair
look
is
at
cut well.
this ugly pen is throwing everyone back into the 20th century.
You know what it's like somewhere in time.
Yes!
When he travels and he sees
this
the
is
penny.
like the penny in Somewhere in Time. Put this out of my
We
sight. We see it. Oh no! We need a quill pen. Someone out there send us a quill pen.
We need a Lady Catherine de Bourgh to be our patroness. Please, someone send us
Yes.
a quill.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I showed the pen.
If you want to send us a quill, I shall provide our address if you DM me.
You will? Oh.
Maybe not. Never mind. I'll send you a P.O. box.
Oh, gosh. Press start.
Can send it to the church. To the fire.
Oh, this is gold. This is gold. You see, this is how we record. That's got to go on there. Okay.
We got to go
now
back.
Listen,
we
should
got to
have
backtrack.
recorded that. That should have been on the camera.
You have a finger. You can press record.
I'll give you a finger. Get it on there. Just press record. All right. Oh, my
With your permission, my lord, I'd like to go around again. Good evening, and welcome to the Sisters Sanditon. Hold on.
This is why I do the intro.
Good evening, and welcome to the Sisters Sanditon Review. Sisters Sanditon's Review.
God.
Good evening, and welcome to the Sisters Sanditon's Review. Are you kidding me? The Sisters Sanditon's Review?
Okay, I'll take over.
Something can't
here.
work.
You ready?
Wait a minute.
Here we go.
Wait, is that
Good
a word?
evening, and welcome to the Sisters Sanditon Review.
The Sisters Sanditon's Review? No, the Sisters Sanditon Review. Is there a plural after Sanditon?
And welcome to the Sisters Sanditon's...
No. The Sisters Sanditon Review.
Sanditon is fine.
Look at how big my hands are. They're like,
Yeah.
look at my
Wow,
arms.
You're like the Hulk.
I think it's because the camera's leaning.
Or what's the other guy with the blonde hair and the big
Thor!
ass?
Man, is he hot.
Well, you look like him.
Well, thank you!
in
Wait
a not
a minute.
good way. The hands are coming to get you.
At least I've got sleeves that cover up my Michelin arms. Every time one of my arms, it's this arm, it's always the Michelin arm. Look at it. I can put my whole head in there. Look at how big it looks.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
All right,
It's
press
all right.
stop. Good enough.
I need to lay off the clotted cream, I guess.
So through all this, Charlotte is doubting if being a homemaker will be enough for her. She and Mary have a nice little discussion, and Mary... Are you quite ready? How long does this song go on for, dear?
Only a couple pages.
Oh, great.